It's another episode of Sports Talk Mostly. I am very excited to bring you guys this interview guest. This is the hoop genius, Mo, all the way over in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We talked a little bit before the show, but I want to give the audience a few icebreaker questions to get to know you a little bit better. So If you had to choose one actor or actress to play you in a film about you, who would it be?
Oh, this is really bad because I don't know his name. But have you seen Harold and Kumar?
Yeah.
Kumar from Harold and Kumar.
I was just talking about him yesterday.
Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle remind me of an earlier time in life. So I'm going to go with Kumar from Harold and Kumar because I think it'd be funny. He's a funny guy. It'd be funny. He's
hilarious. I actually watched that movie a couple of weeks ago and I forgot how funny it is and how many quotables there are in it. It's so good. Okay, question number 2, another icebreaker. There's one left after this. If you, I think I know which answer you're gonna go with on this. Maybe that says more about me than it does you. But pick one to be for a day, hero or villain.
As in like a superhero kind of thing, or
sure.
Yeah, I don't know, because sometimes I like being a villain because it's fun, but, I'm a man of the people at the end of the day, so I got to go with a hero.
Okay.
I've got to go with a hero,
Okay.
As fun as being a villain would be, I'm going to have to, put on a smile.
Yeah, the villain role is always fun. I mean, get your James Harden on, go with that villain. But question number 3. If you had to pick one food to eat at least once a day for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
I'm picking cereal.
Cereal? What kind of cereal?
Well, that's the thing, because I picked cereal, I could have a different cereal every day rather than having to stick to one food. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I could have all types. It's so versatile. I eat cereal, not in the mornings like a normal human. I obviously am in the UK. So I stay awake watching the NBA until 6 a.m. So throughout the middle of the night, it's just easy to get a bowl, pour in the cereal, pour in the milk, because anyone who puts the milk before the cereal, I don't know what they're doing.
They're just crazy.
You know what I mean? So cereal is versatile. It's always there. It's the best. So I'm rocking with cereal.
That's a good answer.
As boring as that
is. You. Cereal is not a breakfast food. It's a snack food. Absolutely
for real.
Not a breakfast food, for sure. So that's a good choice. You definitely got me on the technicality of not having to pick one. So good job on that. You're I can pick anything down this cereal aisle. I'll have whatever I want. That's true. Man, cereal is so good. You make me want a bowl of cereal now.
Literally, I'm thinking the same.
So let's talk recent NBA news. There's obviously got a lot going on. It's trade season. We just finished Summer League, all of that stuff. Some big topics that I wanted to get your opinions on. First one, what do you think of, I guess we're going to call it the blockbuster trade of the summer, Russell to the Lakers? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts initially, I like the move, mainly because I'm a huge fan. I come online and I see all these shows and I see whatever, and Russell Westbrook gets so much disrespect from people that I think that this gives him the best shot to win a championship because they were never going to win in Washington.
Right.
Also, being from LA, Russell Westbrook being back home, I'm happy for him because I know he's super happy, and it's the dream for every kid in LA is to grow up to be a Laker. I'm happy for him. But also because, LeBron needs to rest a bit more and AD is made of glass. So they're going to need to rest more throughout the regular season because we're back to an 82-game regular season. It's not a bubble. It's not a 72-game. So they're going to need someone to carry the load throughout the regular season and let these guys rest. Russell Westbrook, that's what he does. Triple-double every night. He's going to come in. He's going to give 100%. Everyone can debate whether he's going to fit on the team, if they've got enough defense or they've got enough shooters. But the thing you can't debate is he's going to bring it. And with that Lakers uniform in the Staples Center, he's going to bring it twice as hard as ever before. So he's going to show up every night, regardless of if Anthony Davis is injured or LeBron's ankle is hurting. Russell Westbrook's going to be there, and we've seen that he can carry a team all by himself if he has to. And the role players aren't too bad there. So I like the move for the Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't like the move for Dennis Schroeder because as soon as they got Westbrook, they're saying goodbye. Goodbye, Dennis. But, you know, I'm happy for us. Obviously, I'm a Celtics fan. I would never root for the Lakers to win.
Right.
But if the Lakers did win, I would be very happy for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, because I'm obviously that's exactly what he went there for. So there's definitely a lot of naysayers out there. I, as a Blazers fan, have admittedly been one of them.
I've seen. I've seen.
And I'm also completely heartbroken about the addition of Melo, but hopefully he'll get a lot of good looks and, you know, he'll definitely be available to give Russell several assists for that triple-double. So,
well, it just changes everything though, doesn't it? Because like, look at Melo, how he's viewed all time, and Westbrook, how he's viewed all time. The things that people say, especially in the way the media is nowadays, they're always like, oh, he hasn't got a championship though. As if that's the difference between being a great, like Melo is an all-time great player with or without a championship. Russell Westbrook is an all-time great player with or without a championship. But now if they do win one, it's just an excuse that people can't have anymore when it comes to, you know, debating the legacy of these guys.
Yeah, definitely. And that will definitely be sort of the nail in the coffin, so to speak, with Russell specifically's legacy, being that he's, you know, now the triple-double king. If he were to win a championship, especially in his home city, that's, you know, you really can't debate that. That's Hall of Fame material through and through. So the other off-season move that I really liked, maybe you not so much, Kemba Walker signed with the Knicks. What are your thoughts on that? I'm actually really excited for him.
You know, Kemba is an all-time nice guy, right? Always happy, always smiling, almost to a point where you'll be down 20 points and you see this guy smiling and you're like, why the hell are you smiling for? Why the hell are you smiling for? But, you know, obviously, that move, he got bought out of his contract from OKC, and that was because Boston traded for Al Horford. Right. So I actually like that move of trading Kemba Walker for Al Horford because Kemba Walker, you know, he plays with the ball in his hands and he scores a lot from the perimeter, off the dribble, etc. But Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum do that a lot. Al Horford gives us, you know, a bigger body to rebound, play some defense, etc. And he's a bit more durable. Even though he's older, he's more durable. So Kemba Walker was never going to stay in OKC. So the fact that he, like I said about Russell Westbrook, managed to get home to his hometown, like everyone who grows up in LA wants to be a Laker. Everyone, as much as the money they want to put into the Brooklyn Nets, every kid in New York wants to be on the Knicks.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, they want to play for the Knicks, even though the Knicks aren't good. So I'm happy for Kemba. It's going to be interesting because they've got Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker. And I can't really see them playing together, but it's going to be nice to have Derrick Rose in the game. Now Kemba Walker's in the game. So it's going to be a nice little 1-2 punch at the point guard spot. But it feels like all these guys in the NBA are just finding situations where they're more happy. You know, the players are just having more power in terms of, I don't want to play here. I'm going to go over here. And, you know, for a lot of fans, it's annoying. You know, like you might have been excited to keep this. Like Washington Wizards fans might be annoyed because obviously you'd rather watch Russell Westbrook than Kyle Kuzma, or an OKC fan might rather watch Kemba Walker than cap space. But I'm happy for the players. You know, they get to do what they like and play in places they've always dreamed of. I mean, if I could go and play for the team I always grew up dreamed of playing, that would be my dream come true too. So I can't not be happy for them.
Yeah, I fully agree with you on that. And I feel like there's a different element when a guy gets to actually play in a spot that he's like very excited to be in. It's like a completely different, it's like the vibe of like playing at Rucker or Drew League, you know what I mean? It's just completely ball for fun. And you just see them get to like show out with a huge smile on their face, like you said about Kemba. And you just see them thriving when they're in those places that they want to be in, instead of a team where they're like, man, I really don't want to be here. Like, so you have shined a lot of light on everything. I'm sure anybody listening is kind of like, who exactly are you? You tell the Sports Talk Mostly audience more about what you do with Sky Sports.
So if anyone is wondering who I am Mooncey, aka the Hoop Genius. That's all you need to know, because if you didn't know before, now you do. But so anyway, over here in the UK, the Sky Sports is our national broadcaster, so it's basically the equivalent of a TNT or ESPN. You guys, I find it weird how you have like multiple networks. Here, the NBA only comes on one channel, so you only need one channel to watch the NBA. Sky Sports.
It's weird too. Don't worry.
So Sky Sports is, you know, the home of the NBA over here. So I do the live games. I do, you know, kind of the pre-match analysis and breakdowns and half times and timeouts and that kind of stuff. And then I also have a weekly debate show where we do kind of, discussing the biggest topics from around the world of the NBA, going back and forth with my co-host on the show as well. So that's what I do with Sky Sports. I do a bunch of other stuff. I have a show on Snapchat as well called In the Paint. I do a bunch of stuff with NBA 2K. I do a bunch of my own stuff as well. So I just try and fill 24 hours a day with basketball and a little bit of cereal sprinkled in here and there.
I respect that. You mentioned you do a lot of work with the NBA 2K community. My audience is slightly familiar. I definitely have some gamers out there, and I actually had GM and head coach of Heat Check Gaming, Derek Franklin, on the show in the past. So talk a little bit about why gaming culture is so important to the growth of the NBA.
Just from a personal level, I think gaming is like, it has a reputation for being nerdy, but ain't no one calling me nerdy. That's just the first thing,
right?
Because I think the beauty of video games is now kids can stay inside the house and play a game, and it works on now 2K. You can play with all your friends, right? So it's like communication, team building, even though it's not as good as playing real basketball, but being inside and playing games, it keeps you off the roads, keeps you off the streets, it keeps you out of trouble. You can't get into any trouble. Obviously, it's different for everyone growing up, but you can't get into any trouble if you're inside your house playing games. Do you know what I mean? So I just think gaming is dope as an industry like that, and it opens so many doors that wouldn't have been open to people beforehand. And for the growth of the NBA, I know so many people in here. Like, I think it's different for you guys in the States because you've grown up with the NBA being part of the culture, whereas over here in the UK, the NBA has been growing and growing. And I've met so many people who have become NBA fans because they've been playing NBA 2K.
Right.
So they play NBA 2K. In fact, to be fair, my core friend group of like the people I spend most times with, when I went to university, they were never NBA fans when we met. They were all football fans, soccer fans, right?
Right.
But they used to see me playing this game. And so they started playing it with me and they were like, yo, this is kind of lit. And through playing the game, then when the playoffs came around, they were like, yo, let's watch this basketball stuff.
Yeah.
Now they're like proper basketball fans.
That's
so
awesome.
Through the game, they learn about all the players and all the teams and all the jerseys. And, it's just a good entry into the world of the NBA.
Right. I definitely think that a lot of people in the States forget that basketball is such an American sport and it's really not that popular. I mean, maybe Canada, obviously Toronto Raptors.
Well, it's huge in Europe, but EuroLeague is the thing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because like I think Americans would be shocked if you came to a game in Europe and it's like one of the teams in Serbia versus one of the teams in Greece, right?
Right.
It's crazy. It's the stadium, the arena's packed, fans are screaming. But it's not like the NBA, which is very professional. Right. Inside the arena. I remember I went to one game in Barcelona and the fans were letting off the flares, like the flares with the fire inside the indoor arena. And they had to delay the game because there's so much smoke, you couldn't actually see anything in the whole building.
Yeah, I've heard they like do that at arenas.
Yeah,
over there. That's like a thing.
Crazy. It's
so
crazy.
Wild. I would freak out.
It's crazy. Like anyone who's in Europe from America, I urge you to go see a EuroLeague game. So basketball is popular, as a sport, but it's just getting the NBA as a business, as a product over to Europe. That's kind of the because Americans just think the NBA is basketball. But basketball is a sport and there's so many other leagues and divisions. And that way you see, like, I remember when Luka Doncic was coming to the league and all these guys, all these Twitter experts and gurus and whatever they want to call themselves were like, he's never going to make it. He's only played in the EuroLeague. He's too slow. He ain't going to be able to play in the NBA. And then he just comes to the NBA and it's just a walking bucket. And he said, even Luka said, scoring in the NBA is easier. You saw it with the Olympics. Like all these guys, they can't score in international play like they do in the NBA. So that's the distinction that I always like to make because people say basketball's an American thing, but basketball's a worldwide thing. Even in like Philippines, China, wherever, basketball's huge. But the NBA is what I'm trying to grow here in the UK and the rest of Europe.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. So you actually just a few days ago tweeted something that I absolutely loved. And it went, it was pretty popular regarding your work in NBA specifically. And the tweet said, and I quote, "They don't show Sky Sports in America. So the majority of hoop fans haven't seen it yet." Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to this NBA stuff on TV, I'm top 3 in the world. Carry on.
Top 3.
And I love it. You're definitely like, first of all, like mad props for like being such a goat that you have like Twitter's actual support when you say stuff like that. Because most people who like don't have the credentials to say stuff like that would just get ratioed to hell on Twitter for that. But you had so many people like quote tweeting you like, pay attention, pay attention. Secondly, I completely agree. Obviously, because I have you on the show. And lastly, you listed as like a thread to that tweet, you listed some topics that you cover that motivated you to tweet that. So tell us more about what makes you so multifaceted and your content so important for the hoop community over there.
So first of all, a couple people, I got mad love. I want to shout out everyone who gave me, I got mad love on that tweet. I had so many people, hundreds of people saying they agree. I had 1 or 2 people, as you do with the internet, spreading some negativity, saying it was arrogant, saying it was big-headed, saying it was bragging. Here's the thing. It ain't bragging if you can back it up. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So there's tape. Go check the tape. Here's what the situation is I'm the new generation of the media, right? So you guys have got, I see everything that happens in America. You've got guys like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, whose jobs are to give hot takes and cause controversy and debate all day. You've got guys like inside the NBA who, you know, their job is to have a laugh and have fun and make people laugh. Then you've got guys like, you know, Tim Legler and you know, a lot of other people that do a great job of breaking down the film. Right. And then you've got guys like Nick DePaula, who's amazing, bringing you the sneaker news.
Right.
I do all of it because I've studied the game and I can bring and draw from different parts when I need to, where I need to. That's the difference, is there's no one else. Someone said to me, anyone could do that. I said, name one person in this whole media game right now that can do what I do in terms of break down the plays from the technical standpoint of their X's and O's, and then talk about the kicks that each player on the court is wearing, and then talk about the entire history of the franchise, and then because I dedicate my life to this. That's what I do all day, every day. I think about nothing but basketball culture. It is what I do, right? So when I say I'm top 3 in the world, it's only because the rest of the world's not seeing it. Once I get put on in the States, I'm top 1.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what like the majority of the replies on that thread were saying was like, as soon as you get a chance to like get an opportunity over in the United States, like it's lost. It's over. Like,
because I see everyone's always complaining about TV coverage in America. Right. Everyone's always complaining about TV coverage in America.
Myself included.
No, because it is bad though, because they can't balance. Like I said, those guys all just do one thing each, with all due respect, because Stephen A. Smith is amazing at what he does.
Yeah,
and Tim Legler is amazing at what he does.
Even some of their social media coverage is like horrendous. I mean, with Simone Biles specifically, even before the Olympics, there was so much she was doing, and I think SportsCenter's Instagram posted about it about once.
No, it's like this is the thing. I'm trying to bring a whole new generation through, and I'm trying to do it my way. Like I do things different. So when you see me and I'll go and do a show, right? Even from turning on the TV, I'm there, but I'm wearing Jordans and a blazer and a turtleneck with a gold chain around my neck, because that's me. That's my source. I do it in my style.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't follow what everyone else has done. I take the best parts out of what everyone's done and I add that to my bag.
Right.
You see how like the game of basketball evolves over time, right? So now you see players like LeBron James studied all the great players who came before him and took pieces of their game. Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant took parts of their game to add to his bag. Same way Michael Jordan took parts of all the greats that came before him and added to their bag. So I'm just taking the great parts out of everyone that I see and putting it in my bag in the hopes that one day there's a kid out there who takes some inspiration from me and puts it into their bag. Because that's what the whole thing is for, right? I'm not going to be here forever. My time on earth is limited, right? But if there's kids out there that see me doing what I do, and this is the reason I feel like I can brag, because so many kids message me like, yo, I had never seen someone like you do this before.
Right.
You know, like I remember the first time I went to an NBA press conference. everyone in the room was an old white man.
Right.
And that's with all due respect to those guys. People who talk like me and walk like me and look like me, we don't do those kind of things. It wasn't happening then.
Right.
So
like the diversity.
That's my whole thing is if I can just inspire people and motivate people, then that's my job done. And then when it comes to comparing myself to all the rest of the game, anyone can say what they want, but anyone can come and debate me on anything. Anyone can come and do anything they want. I'm top 3, and that's me being humble.
Right. And it has to be said that you were not really using your Twitter account for a whole lot, like at least for a while, or maybe at first. And then you started using your Twitter account again, and you got verified like so quickly. And I remember I think either you tweeted about it or somebody tweeted about it and you retweeted it, but you're like, yep, finally got that verified check, you know what I mean? And it's well, because that's exactly what Twitter requires to give people the verified check is legitimate sources, legitimate representations from legitimate networks and things like that. So it definitely goes to say you are bringing a lot to the basketball community, a lot to the NBA community, and a lot to the culture side of things too. So
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You're too kind.
People that support you help you get an opportunity that makes more American hoop fans familiar with your name.
I just need everyone who supports me and messes with me and messes with my stuff. Just spread the word. Just share it. I never ask for. I started doing Twitch streams, right? And people were like, yo, Mo, where could we donate money? And I said, listen, I don't, not that I don't need it, because obviously everyone loves getting paid, but I don't need any of that. It's your hard-earned money. Don't waste it on me. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause I'm just going to buy more shoes. So all I ask from everyone is very simple. Just share my work. If you see me post something, retweet button is free. Like button is free. Send it button is free. Subscribe button is free. That's all I ask from anyone, because I do this for the love of it. And I remember being a kid with no money. I didn't have money to pay for. That's why I don't really like all this stuff behind a paywall. I don't really rock with it, because if everything was behind a paywall when I was coming up, because I started my career as a writer, right, before I started doing the presenting stuff. But if everything was behind a paywall, I would have never been able to read great writers and learn from them. So that's why I try and make everything free as much as I possibly can. So all I ask in return is people just share it, spread the love. If they think something's good and they want to share it with their friends who like basketball, just spread the word. That's all I ask for. And in return, I spread love right back. That's what I try and do. You know what I mean?
I'm with you on that. Slight transition. Let's talk NBA draft and summer league just a little bit. Obviously, summer league just concluded. NBA draft was about a month and a half ago now. So what teams or players do you feel stood out in summer league, and who do you feel has a little bit more to work on prior to preseason matchups or even during preseason matchups?
So for me, obviously I've got a rep for my European boys, because I always get a little bit of an insight before they come over, because I see them working out at camps and stuff here. So I get to see them before they register for the draft, etc. So, a lot of the Europeans over the last, I remember seeing Luka when he was 16 or something and being like, wow. So this kid that the Houston Rockets drafted, Alperen Şengün, he had a great summer league and he was a standout player, but I also think he's got the most work to do, because it's one thing being a forward and playing summer league basketball, and it's a whole other thing going up against grown men in the NBA. Having said that, he was the MVP of the Turkish league, which isn't a bad league. So, I think that he has got a lot of potential because his fundamentals are so good. He's a highly skilled player and he seems to be a fast learner, especially on the defensive side, which is where a lot of people thought he would struggle. So for me, that's my standout. But obviously, Jalen Green looks like a walking bucket. I think the Houston Rockets did so well on draft night. Jalen Green, Christopher as well, and of course, Usman Garuba, who is a bit late and he's going to struggle to kind of evolve into the NBA or find his way. But once he finds his way, he's a disgusting defender. He's literally going to put the clamps on guys. It's going to be horrible for guys to try and get a bucket on him. So I think the Houston Rockets definitely won draft night and summer league and all of that. The Sacramento Kings, Davion Mitchell looks like a star. You saw that in the final, the way he's playing on both ends of the floor. He looks amazing. But the Kings have got work to do now because they've got Mitchell, Fox, Halliburton, and Hield. Yeah. So not all four of them can get good level minutes. They're going to have to make some moves and try and find a way to work. But it's Sacramento, so they'll find a way to somehow lose all four of them because that's just what they do.
Yeah, I've seen Twitter, NBA Twitter has been going off about the Kings, just about how it's like just a disgrace. They're kind of like over it right now. So, I mean, I feel bad for Kings fans, but hopefully they can find some way to shake out some wins. Hopefully.
They'll get enough wins to give their fans hope, but not enough wins to actually, yeah. So that's how they've been stuck since about 2004. So I feel bad for my friends with Sacramento Kings fans too.
Yes, yeah. And I know. It's just such a bummer when players get stuck in situations like that because everybody wants to win. And, I'm sure, most people are okay with a like development year here or there, but at the same time, like everybody wants to win. So it's just so heartbreaking when you see guys stuck in those situations where either because of management or just available talent, they just cannot put something together. I mean, if the Blazers don't get their act together, they're kind of going the same direction. So
this is the thing. I wanted to flip the script for a second and ask you a question.
Okay.
I need your take on the whole Dame situation, leaving Portland, staying in Portland, back and forth. I couldn't come to this podcast and not ask you for your opinion. Even though you're asking me questions, I thought it's only right if I ask you as well for your take on the whole Dame situation.
It's totally fair game. Man, it's a bummer because Dame was not Neil O'Shea's brainchild. Dame's drafting to the Blazers was orchestrated by the previous management team. And that's where it becomes a little bit of a gray area between who's the favorite, him or CJ, because CJ McCollum, on the other hand, was Neil O'Shea's draft pick. So I think, unfortunately, he has a supermax this year. So he could not realistically have really gone anywhere this year if he wanted to withhold that supermax. It wouldn't have worked out. So after this season, if Neil in the front office cannot make some valuable moves, I see Dame making a decision outward, but I do not, under any circumstances, see that being to the Lakers. So I just have to.
Lakers fans think they'll get everyone. Lakers fans probably watch.
I would be okay with seeing him with the Knicks. I would be okay with seeing him with the Mavs, the Heat, any of these teams that NBA Twitter has dreamt up in their heads that he's going to end up on. Any team besides the Lakers, because I just know if Dame were to play for any California team, he would not do so until he could go home to Golden State.
I hear you. I was just going to say the Lakers fans think they can get everyone. Anytime a player is available or rumored to be available, like they probably watched Space Jam and thought they could get some of them aliens on a team. And well, actually, Dame was one of the aliens in Space Jam, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So, but no, Lakers fans make me laugh. Like, because they've been photoshopping Melo into a Lakers jersey every summer since basically Twitter began. Like since the beginning of Twitter. Now they finally got
jersey swaps for this announcement right now.
He's still got the braids.
Yeah, like get a recent photo of him. Jeez Louise, you have to Photoshop him out of a Blazers jersey, and y'all don't like doing that. So,
hey, Lakers fans,
man, I love so many of them, but at the same time, I just want to strangle all of them. And I know I have some audacity because I'm wearing a Kobe jersey as I say that, but at the same time, I said what I said, you know?
But that's a Kobe jersey, not a Lakers jersey. I was wearing my Kobe jersey, yesterday, and I said, listen, because someone asked me, I thought you would never wear a Lakers jersey. I said, this isn't a Lakers jersey. This is a Kobe jersey. It's not a Lakers jersey. Don't ever get it twisted. If you see me in a Lakers jersey, that's a Kobe Bryant jersey, not Kyle Kuzma or whatever the hell you want to put on your jersey. Whatever, man.
Thank you. I'm with you on that. I'm going to start saying that now. It's not.
That's a Kobe jersey.
It's a Kobe.
For real.
For real. So do you have a way too early pick for Rookie of the Year? I'm
going with Jalen Green. I said it. I said it before he even got drafted. I just think, the situation that he's been drafted to, as opposed to Cade Cunningham, who's also a very talented player, who's also going to be great, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I just feel like how we saw LaMelo win Rookie of the Year this year, because he's a bit more of the razzle-dazzle, high-flying, exciting style of play, even though Anthony Edwards had a great season, and he had some great standout moments too. I just feel like Jalen Green, he's going to have more of the ball as well, because they're trying to work out that backcourt in Detroit with Killian Hayes and Cade Cunningham. So they've got to figure that out first.
Right.
And then they've got the rest of the team is also trying to develop. Whereas in Houston, I feel like the fit might be a little bit more ideal for him to go out and get the Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, I think Houston might have set themselves up to have a pretty decent season, to be honest with you. I'm going to be pretty shocked if it actually happens, but I think they've got a good lineup. So I agree with you on that. I think that's the early pick from pretty much everybody around the league is Jalen Green, Rookie of the Year. So I know there are some Cade Cunningham diehards out there who are not going to even let go of the argument. But I mean, unless, God forbid, Jalen gets hurt or anything crazy happens. I agree with you. I think.
I hope all the guys stay healthy. That's the worst part of the NBA season is injuries. I hope all the guys stay healthy.
I know. And in the bubble, I feel like everybody was getting hurt. So as long as people can just stay recovered from all of that trauma, then we'll be.
Yeah.
Do you have a way to early pick for NBA champ?
Brooklyn.
Oh, interesting.
Easy. If they stay healthy, they're winning.
Okay, even over LA, or are you just not anti-LA?
I'm not anti-LA. My question is, who is gonna guard James Harden and Kyrie Irving on the Lakers? Everyone says, "Oh, Russ can play defense when he's locked in." Okay, cool. Who's guarding James Harden? That's really my question.
Right.
Because you've got Kevin Durant to worry about.
True.
And also bear in mind when they get to the playoffs, Blake Griffin somehow turns back the hands of time and starts playing like Blake Griffin again. And now they've got Patty Mills coming off the bench as well.
Right.
Like Brooklyn, if in my opinion, if they stayed healthy, they would have won this year. Yeah. So I think they've got too much talent if they stay healthy.
I mean, I have predicted at the start of last year's playoffs, I thought it was going to be Phoenix, Brooklyn in the finals. Obviously, we saw how that ended up. But I agree. I think Brooklyn's going to be forced to be reckoned with. I won't be surprised if we see Lakers versus Brooklyn in the finals, but I hope that's not the way that goes.
There's too many storylines. There's too many stories. We need to see. We need to see Russ versus KD. You know what I mean? LeBron versus Kyrie. Like, these storylines are there. I'm excited just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize all the history between the two teams now that, just literally until you just said that, there is a lot of old teammate rivalry.
Yeah, again to my Stephen A. Smith bag a little bit. But Kyrie Irving versus LeBron James. Kevin Durant versus Russell Westbrook. Max Kellerman. You know what I mean? First Take gonna have a field day.
Oh man. Well, that is pretty much it. That's all the time that I need to take of yours for today. So before I send you on your way, again, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. This has been fun.
I know.
By the way, you've done an amazing job as the host of the podcast. I know you were talking about being nervous before. You've done an amazing job. Thank you for having me on. This has been a great vibe, great laugh. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know we've been talking about this for a while. I know you're obviously busy during the season, and I feel like things were crazy after the season with Summer League. It was such like a, bing, bang, boom.
Never stops. Never stops.
So in closing, I just want to give you an opportunity to tell all the listeners where they can find you online. I know you mentioned everything a bit before, but give them hell on the way out. Tell them how to content.
Listen, you guys listening, thank you for listening through to the podcast. Thank you to Taylor for being such an amazing host. If you want to check me out, you can check me out on the Hoop Genius YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Hoop Genius. Catch me on Twitter at the Hoop Genius, Instagram. Just type in Hoop Genius. And if you see a better looking version of Drake talking about basketball with a British accent, you'll know you're in the right place. That's it.
That's very accurate. That is so accurate. Awesome. Well, like I said, Mo, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and we'll talk very soon. I'm sure I'll have to get some more of your takes as the season starts and goes on. So
most definitely.
I'll talk to you later. I appreciate you. Have a great evening.
You too. God bless.